I guess since you guys are being lame and sticking with your thing,
Yeah.
I love Toad.
so fuck the blue.
Damn it.
shell.
Fuck the blue shell coming up from the sky.
Stop hitting me with stuff.
We were talking about
Erasers.
our
Oh, I just made second.
Damn.
I'm
you
sorry, I
hit
knocked
me.
right into you.
That
man.
was funny.
Wait, what were you saying?
Bismarck and I were talking about it to a coworker, and we were talking about police injustices, to put it lightly.
Yeah.
And he was like, because they brought up like the statistic, 40% of cops and killing 20 dogs a week, and all that stuff.
20 dogs?
Yeah, 20 dogs a
Holy
week.
shit.
300 a year.
God.
And they don't count canine units because they see it as property, like when the cop kills them.
Oh my god.
Isn't that fun?
Wait, what happened?
But he was like, I don't need to see, sources for statistics. And I was like, you can easily Google it, dude. I was like, it's not my responsibility that you turn a blind eye to these, injustices.
And when people say that, it's like, is it just because you want to stay in this shell of yours, or are you just lazy?
Yeah.
Because it's like, whenever somebody says that, it's as though they don't understand that, like, there's a possibility that they could be wrong, which I feel is either, like, yeah, they're either incredibly intellectually lazy, or they're just, like, the thought that they could be wrong, like, is harmful to them in some way.
Probably, honestly.
It's so gross. It's like, that's the one thing. It's like, I'm gonna have to. Where are your sources? Can you show me? And if I did show you, what would you say?
Yeah.
Like, what's the matter here? Do you just not have the time?
Well,
you not have your phone?
Yeah.
Oh god, it's so silly.
And we're like, oh fuck, well, how did it go from there? And he was like, I forgot how it got there, but he was like, oh, like, yeah, of course, like, there's corruption and stuff like that, but this is better. Otherwise, it's just anarchy.
Is
Oh
like,
my
And me and Bismarck at the same time were like, yeah, yes.
It sounds like
like
somebody doesn't know what anarchy
spoken
is.
like someone who doesn't understand what anarchy is.
Yeah, exactly.
Spoken like someone who's been raised by fucking capitalist shit that says like, oh, isn't it funny these losers are like, oh, fuck the establishment.
Man, there's somebody.
How cringy.
I'm in a
Ooh.
group chat with a whole bunch of friends from mostly from music connections all over LA, and this one guy is always just like kind of like low key, sort of like defending capitalist shit, but he does it in like this really sort of obnoxious way.
This is the only way, bro.
You're right, but like we were having this conversation where one of the guys was like, he was just talking about how fucking like obnoxious just having a boss is, like having a manager.
Yeah.
And we were talking about the concept of it, not like necessarily like the anecdotal fucking like, oh yeah, this boss or this boss. It was like having somebody who could just micromanage you and who can who's basically just like trying their best to vie for the attention of your life for like 8 hours or so. That's like grueling. It assumes that you're, intellectually incapable of performing certain tasks. And like it also just assumes that like this whole concept assumes that you need like to be directed at all times. It's like it just doesn't lead to growth. And then this guy, he was like, I don't know, it's like I've had good bosses. I just think that like we need better bosses. And then the guy who initially started the conversation blew the fuck up at him.
Good.
He was like, we understand that you're indoctrinated to think that having a boss is the only way in which somebody can work. But like, dude, just like at least how do you say? Like, at least assume for a moment that you could be wrong. And that's the thing. It's like that's the one thing that keeps so many people just like, what if you're wrong?
Yeah.
But this guy kept going at it, and he was like, I don't know, I just think this conversation got a little too deep. And I was like, what do you mean? It started this way.
It's just like, he's just backpedaling.
Hearing Brandon fucking, like, say shut up, and this, like, incredibly, like, fucking dull voice. Not dull in the sense that you're, like, boring or something, but just, like this fucking whiskey-soaked voice, this, like, sandpapered voice. So that's Shut up.
Shut up. Oh man.
There's something. Oh shit, that's right. I had to go to the show yesterday, which has always felt like a terrible excuse when something like this happens. But Jordan Peterson was fucking doing a oh, son of a bitch. He was doing a like some sort of lecture thing at a nearby school.
Gross.
And a whole bunch of people from this abolitionist Signal group chat I'm in were like, hey, we're gonna go and we're gonna fucking, you know, we're gonna fuck with this shit. I was like, god damn, I so want to go.
Yeah, that sounds lit. Do you get any updates, like what they did?
Not yet. Hoping they weren't arrested or some shit. I'll check the group chat soon. I mean, it's not updated frequently. I think they only really update it like every now and then when they're having like a distro, because they work with Food Not Bombs in Santa Ana. If you've heard of them,
I have not.
Food Not Bombs is like this international like mutual aid sort of coalition, and their whole thing is basically just like, you know, we get together and we have like food distributions. Oh god, but we also but they are also like, when we do our food distros, we also have like educational material for folks to take, and we have not seminars, but we have discussions about stuff as well. So it's kind of like oh Jesus, I so almost died. I can't pay attention. But yeah, they're basically just like, it's mostly food distribution, but also education about anti-capitalist, ideology.
Yeah,
For lack of a better term.
The same coworker, whenever he complains about capitalism, he calls it like,
Sorry,
oh, it's
Brandon.
just consume what?
Corporate America, he said.
Yeah, he calls it like corporate America.
Yeah.
Or
that's the whole like crony capitalism.
Yeah.
It's because of it's because that money has corrupted our system. It's like, what do you think allowed for that? What?
Or
Do you think it wouldn't happen again?
Another coworker calls it consumerism. Like,
Oh,
yeah, it's
consumerism.
consumerism for you. I was like, yeah, where did consumerism come from?
Yeah, they're like,
That same coworker I brought up, you weren't there. I brought up like profit sharing, and he was like, "But how would you run that? Like, how would you pay for like the building and everything?" And then like our I didn't get to respond because our manager, white manager, the Boy Scout guy was like, "Oh yeah, profit sharing, yeah," and he started talking about it, and then that coworker was like, "Well, why don't we do that?" And then the manager was like, "Because the CEO has to get paid." Like all these people that still like have these reservations about doing away with capitalism. It's like, you're right there, you're saying it.
yeah, exactly. It's like, do you not connect the dots? It's I had this conversation with the guitarist for Ravenous Wolves last night, where because we were talking about the cost of like parking in the area, because for anybody who goes out to Hollywood for anything whatsoever, if you are so unlucky as to not be able to find a parking meter, you're gonna probably pay $20. And we were talking about that. Oh yeah, my bad. But Andres was like, "Yeah, man, it's just the woes of having to make money." And I'm like, "Man, if only we didn't have to." And it was like,
Yeah.
"Well, man, how would that work?" And I was like, and we didn't get too far in the conversation, but he's just like, "Well, that's the thing. It's. I mean, I guess there's just enough ways for people to make money. You can eke out a living." And I brought up a conversation that we had at our last practice, where it was like, "Yeah, but like the whole thing about like making money is there's never going to be enough, because there's so many people who are constantly taking way more than they need." I was like, "Oh yeah, that's it's a huge problem, but it's like, what are we going to do?" It's like, what are we going to do?
Yeah, what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Say it, motherfucker. Say it.
They're so unwilling to undo the actual system. Like they just want to be like, "Yeah, that's a problem with like greed and stuff." It's like, well, it's never going to be done away with if you don't do away with
It's like that one
the
meme.
root of the problem.
It's that meme that I've seen like so many times, where it's like the one face, like the one like blank Wojak, where it's just like, God, like the world is so unfair sometimes. And then there's another Wojak that's just saying, "Why don't we just try and make it more fair?" And then the first one's just like gets an angry face.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot there's drafting in this game.
Drafting.
Yeah, where you can like drive behind another car,
Oh, yeah.
and you can pick up their draft.
Yeah, I think it's called the backdraft or
Slipstreaming?
something like that. Slipstreaming, yeah.
I've heard multiple ways. I've heard the draft dodge, but they got rid of that after the 60s, 70s actually.
That reminds me of the it was like a tweet or something that was like, could you imagine if NFTs existed in the 40s? And they replied, "Yeah, they're called the war bonds, dumbass."
Yeah.
Holy shit! Oh my! I never even thought of that. Holy fuck!
Yeah, fictitious capital, as Mark said.
I just like how I remember. I forgot who I was talking about, but somebody was telling me about how like, oh god, cryptocurrency is just so fucking fake. It's just like, where does the value even come from? It's like it comes from the same place that like the value for actual money comes from.
Yeah.
Our fucking imaginations, dude. And it's like so many people are quick to say like, oh yeah, money money isn't real. Money is just like it's just like this big collective hallucination. It's like, what are you gonna do with that information?
Yeah.
Like, stop Rick and Mortying about and actually think about like, what is the consequences of what you just said?
That reminds me of a Reddit thread I saw. It was just like, oh, if inflation is so bad, why don't we just, what's to stop us from saying like, oh no, the dollar's worth this now. And the top comment is like, yeah, like nothing. It's just the system in place that like the people that profit off of it.
Exactly.
It's just like there really is nothing keeping you from being like, nah.
The only thing that really keeps you from doing that, of course, is the threat of violence.
Yeah.
Like that is the one thing that the state like has. It's just the ability to convince others to commit acts of violence upon you if you don't agree with the status quo.
Reminds me, there's also a comedian I saw. It was just like, he's like, oh, you always see right wingers talk about like, like what's the reason they want to keep so many automatic weapons and blah blah blah. And it's just like, well, it's for if we want to fight back against the oppression of the government. And it's like, sure, that's a good idea. If this were the 1700s, like, and it's just like that's why I want to just have like this big like event where we take like 100 Southerners that love their guns and like 4 military people. And it's just like, well, cut to the interviews and it'll be the military guy and he's just like, or it'll be the Southerner and he's like, yeah, I got myself this semi-automatic blah 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 and this one and I got these kinds of grenades. And it'll go to the military guy and he's just like, this doesn't really seem fair. Are you sure? I just have a drone. Like I just
have a drone.
Yeah,
fuck.
And just those 100 versus 4, just duke it out, man.
That is sad, honestly. That so much of like right wing politics kind of acts on machismo.
Mm-hmm.
Just like this thought that like, oh yeah, like you can be superior in these ways and in these ways if you do this, if you buy this. It's like, no, you're not going to be superior to anyone if you buy a weapon. Like maybe if you go shoot up like a fucking elementary school, yeah, that's how you're gonna prove your worth in the eyes of God. I don't know, but like otherwise, it's like who you actually going to fight back with on your lonesome. And that's another thing that right wing politics also actively condones, like the thought that you have to be completely self-sufficient.
Yeah.
The thought that you have to rely only on yourself because at some point you're not going to have anybody else to rely on. I was like, yeah, if you keep swallowing that shit whole.
Persecution fetish, bro.
Yeah.
And all of it comes from that too. Like, oh, they're getting rid of the white people. They want to phase them out.
Oh. Is there actually any non-European country on Earth that has a white minority?
European country? I don't think so.
Non-European country.
Oh, South Africa.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was white that's when apartheid was the whole thing. It was a white minority, but they still had, segregation and for the 4 whites.
I always thought that. Oh gosh.
There's still a white minority now.
No, wait. I think I phrased the question wrong.
Oh.
Because like the whole thing in America is, of course, or to at least to white men who are fucking suspicious of it, is that like we're going to be replaced. We're going to be outnumbered.
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm trying to ask is there any European or European influenced country like America in the West that has a white minority? I guess that's what I meant. Like, is there anything for these fools to be worried about?
To be worried about, no, but South Africa is a white minority, is what I'm saying.
Okay. Then I guess, yeah.
Except when it was still a white minority, the white people had control.
Oh, okay. My bad for.
So it's kind of like it's the point is moot,
Yeah, I get you.
Like there's not like. Well, why? What's wrong with being a minority? Is there a problem with it?
No.
I was talking about the white people. I'm saying. Like they're like, oh, they're gonna make us a minority. I was like, why? What's wrong with being a minority?
What's gonna happen then?
Is it harder or something? Damn.
Is there something that you remember from recent history that you might be afraid of happening to you?
But yeah, it's just silly times. And I saw someone talk about it too. How a lot of white people become rabid with their sports fandoms and shit.
Really?
Because they
shit. I'm going the wrong way.
because they don't have a culture that they're
that they can actually identify with outside of it.
Yeah, with a lot of minorities where they're close to
their histories,
their history and culture. There's white people, or at least American whites, don't really have that because they're generations apart. So they always have that strive for
what would you even call USA culture?
that
There's
American culture,
sports and AR-15s.
Yeah,
that's sad. Honestly, it's like the one thing that white Americans who are into that kind of shit the one thing they strive for the most, this cultural strength and unity and this the untarnishedness of this. It's you never had that.
Yeah.
It's the one time you had it was when you weren't American, when you were fucking Dutch or German or some shit.
Yeah, man. I like how people are gonna be like,
culture is going to the Cracker Barrel on Saturday mornings.
It's going to watch baseball, eating a hot dog.
Eating a overpriced hot dog that's maybe several inches longer than a hot dog of far less financial significance. I'm sorry though, Brandon. Go on.
That's me trying to convince my significant others. I think it's funny that people might tune in no way, Mario Kart, cool, and they get this leftist monologues.
I know.
Just cool by me, but I feel like I understand why people would tune away. Yeah.
No, that's fair. We should put up. Jesus. We should put a content. Oh yes, comedy. Thank God. We should put a content warning. Be warning. We're gonna go off on a whole bunch of leftist shit. So if you just want haha laughter over Isabel getting quashed by a fucking sledgehammer.
Quashed. We gotta stick with those leftist gamers, bro.
Leftist gamers. What other leftist gamers do you know?
I mean, I know the subreddit.
Oh.
There's a whole subreddit of
that's right.
leftist gamers. That's where I posted our gameplay of Tonight We Riot and got 100 fucking subscribers.
Shit, I didn't even remember that.
Yeah. That's why our Tonight We Riot
quiet.
Episodes got a lot of comments and views.
Shit, that's cool.
Yeah, man.
We should just send any clip of us having a leftist monologue to the fucking subreddit.
Yeah, bro.
Man, that's the thing. I always find it hard to know who to share this channel with, amongst my close friends, because I have friends who are very into leftist thought. Oh fuck!
I saw that.
Who are very into leftist thought, but just don't like watching video game playthroughs.
Yeah.
And then I have friends who are into leftist thought, but I feel like I don't know what they think if we happen to have another Minge trilogy. Just how will you respect me after this? I mean, if you don't, that's your fault and your problem. But
Nick falls on both ends. It's funny.
Oh my god. But yeah, shout outs to Darby if you're still watching us. Thanks for liking our shit. And everybody check out fucking hell. Everybody check out check out Sound Curfew. They're a really neat band.
Instagram, Spotify, Bandcamp.
Were you guys? I think it was the Redwood show where they played their anti-police song because they were BHL played their anti-police song, so now we got to play ours. That's really cool.
I don't think we were there for that, but I saw it on their Instagram story.
Yeah, I love those fellows. They're very nice folks.
Yeah, I still feel bad that
we
tore down the house.
We left nothing for them. We left them crumbs.
For once.
They licked up the crumbs, and then I Sleep Naked got the plate.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I mean, that's the truth. I mean, it's better compared to last time we played DBA, where we played to the bartender.
No, I thought the last time we played DBA was the time that we that Nick's bass amp was on the fritz and we just left embarrassed. And then my car broke down. Or at least
that was it, yeah.
I thought it broke down, but you know what the problem was? I was trying to start the car while it was still in drive.
Yeah.
I just had to move the clutch. Hours. I was such a fucking minge catastrophe.
That's funny.